Concealer might be making your eyes look older, not because concealer is bad, but because you may be applying too much, too low, and setting it too heavily. I'm going to use the exact same concealer on both eyes and show you why placement changes everything. Before I explain anything, look at both sides. This side has more coverage, but this side looks softer, brighter, and more lifted. And the interesting part is that I use the exact same product. I didn't change the concealer, I changed the amount, the placement, and the way I set it. That is why buying a new concealer doesn't always solve the problem. A lot of us learn to apply concealer in a large triangle underneath the eye. We were told that bringing it far down the cheek would brighten the entire face. And that technique can look dramatic on camera, but in real life, especially as the skin underneath the eyes becomes thinner and more textured, that much product can become very noticeable. The product has more area to settle. It can collect and find lines. It can make the under eye look dry. And instead of lifting the eye, it can visually pull everything downward. The instinct is usually to add even more concealer to cover the darkness, but more coverage often creates more texture, and more texture can make the under eye look heavier instead of brighter. There are 3 mistakes I see most often. The first mistake is using too much concealer. You usually need far less than you think. The second mistake is placing it too low. When concealer extends far down the cheek, the eye can start looking visually heavy. And the third mistake is setting it with too much powder. Concealer is already setting on one of the most delicate areas of the face. When you place a thick layer of powder on top of a thick layer of concealer, you create buildup exactly where you do not want it. So the problem is not simply concealer, it is concealer placement, amount, and powder all working together. Let me show you the difference in real time. On this side, I'm going to use the technique many of us learned first. I'm applying a large amount of concealer underneath the eye and bringing it down towards the cheek. Notice how much surface area I'm covering. Now I'm blending all of that product out. It definitely creates coverage, but it also creates a much thicker layer underneath the eye. And now I'm going to set it with powder. The concealer is covered, but the under eye already looks flatter and more made up. Now let's do the other side. I'm placing a very small amount near the inner corner where I have the most darkness. Then I'm adding a tiny amount near the outer corner and blending it upward. I'm not covering the entire under eye. I'm correcting only the areas that need correction. And before I add anything else, I'm going to stop and look at the result. The eye still looks brighter, but the skin looks lighter, softer, and more natural. Now I'm using the smallest amount of powder only where I tend to crease. I'm not baking, and I'm not packing powder across the entire under eye. I'm simply setting the product where it needs help staying in place. Same concealer, completely different result. The biggest shift is learning to place concealer with a purpose. The inner corner is usually where the deepest shadow lives, So a small amount of product there can make a major difference. The outer corner is where strategic placement can create a more lifted appearance. The middle of the under eye may need very little product or none at all. That is why I no longer automatically cover the entire area. I look at my face first, I find the darkness, and I place the product only where it actually is needed. The goal is not to erase every natural shadow. The goal is to create balance without burying the skin. This is also the philosophy that continues to shape Candy Glow. I'm not interested in teaching women that every concern requires another heavy layer of makeup. I want the routine to feel intentional. Use enough product to improve the result, but not so much that the makeup becomes the first thing people see. That is the thinking behind routines like Founder Glow Essentials. Fewer decisions, lighter layers, and makeup that works with your face instead of covering it. So before you replace your concealer, try changing the way you apply it. Use less, keep the placement higher, correct only the areas that actually need correction, and be very careful with powder underneath the eyes. A lot of women do not need more coverage. They need more precise placement. Tell me in the comments, have you been using the large concealer triangle, or have you already switched to a lighter technique? Subscribe, because in the next episode, I'm showing you the makeup placement mistake that can quietly pull your entire face downward. I'll see you there.